Ohio Secretary of State is pushing for lawmakers to close a foreign influence loophole in the state's campaign finance law. He says it's necessary to stop non-citizens from funding campaigns for or against ballot issues. He joins us now. Thanks so much for being here. And you know, Secretary LaRose, it is up to the General Assembly to do something about this. And I do want to bring your attention to the Ohio Anti-Corruption Act. That's House Bill 112. It was sponsored by Representatives Bride Rose Swinney and Jessica Miranda, but it seems like it's kind of stalled since that first hearing on April 18th. It achieves what you're hoping to achieve as well. Do you support that bill?
I'm not familiar with all of the contents of that bill. I know that what we're trying to accomplish is to say that you cannot indirectly influence Ohio's elections if you're a foreign national. Right now, there's a prohibition against direct contributions if you're a foreigner. But what we realized is that last year, a Swiss billionaire with some pretty creative lawyers was able to shift money around from one LLC to another to a different entity and eventually popped out in the form of contributions to the campaign against issue 1 in August and then for issue 1 in November. I don't think Ohioans want a Swiss billionaire to be running television ads in Ohio for or against any particular political issues.
Well, with what's already been filed in the General Assembly, that same bill, it does address the issue of nonprofits, 501c and limited liability companies. It requires them to have some transparency as well, and it does flat out ban foreign money from being donated to our elections. What it does not have is the requirements that your office hopes to see in terms of what happens to violators if this does happen. Talk about the penalties that you are pushing for.
Yeah, there needs to be an increase in penalty, and this is for the deterrent factor. Again, listen, someone in Switzerland with billions of dollars is not going to be particularly dissuaded by a $1,000 or $2,000 fine. There need to be stiff penalties so that people know that if they try to do this, that there are going to be severe consequences. And by the way, whatever process the legislature wishes to go through to get this done, I look forward to working with them. There are different ideas, and they can come up in the committee process, and regardless of who the sponsor of the bill is, look forward to working with them to close this loophole and to protect Ohio's elections from foreign influence.
Well, I know your office has had some communications with both Senate leadership as well as House leadership. Do they seem receptive to your concerns?
I think that they recognize the problem, and I think they're interested in working on it. In the conversations I've had with them, and really with Ohioans throughout the state, people do not want a foreign national to be able to buy their way into Ohio's Constitution. And that's the concern that we have, because, by the way, there are other issues that are coming up to try to amend the Ohio Constitution as well. I mean, I think that the playbook is pretty clear. Folks have found that if you're willing to spend a lot of money, you can maybe buy your way into the state constitution. That's concerning, and it certainly should not be open to influence from foreign nationals.
Now, Secretary LaRose, I do have to press you a little bit. I do have to ask. Now, you pride yourself on transparency, honesty, being trustworthy, but you are running for U.S. Senate right now. What do you say to voters about the timing of this push?
Well, nothing other than once we determined there was a problem, we brought forward a solution. That's how we operate. Listen, the work that I do in my off-duty hours to defeat Sherrod Brown and help take back the U.S. Senate is irrelevant to the work that I do as the Ohio Secretary of State. We identify problems and then work with the legislature to solve them. This is something that didn't come to light until last year. Our legislative affairs team has devised a solution, and now we're asking the legislature to implement that. Really nothing to do with my campaign for U.S. Senate.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.